So hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Good morning. Today I'm in Tokyo, Japan, and I'll be going to a convenience store to get myself some breakfast here. Now, when it comes to convenience stores, Japan is famous for its convenience stores. Japan has a lot of different stores like Mini Stop, like Family Mart, like 7-Eleven, Lawson, Daily Yamazaki, etc, etc. And each store has its own particular stuff, desserts, snacks, and of course their own type of coffee. Now, when it comes to drinking coffee, my personal favorite is actually Lawson, and after that there is 7-Eleven, which allows you basically to choose the strength of your coffee. So I'll be going down to Lawson over here. They have their own matcha cafe, and I'll be grabbing myself a coffee from Lawson and also some basically morning snack. My personal favorite is the bean amman, red bean amman, which is basically made with azuki beans, a red azuki bean paste, and I think as a breakfast meal it's pretty good. Coffee here in Japan at the convenience stores is actually quite cheap. It's around 100 yen per cup, and for what you're paying it's actually not bad compared to Europe, where you might get Nescafe or soluble granule coffee for around €1. The coffee offered at Japanese convenience stores is pretty good. So this is basically Lawson. It's one of the convenience store brands, convenience store chains here in Japan, and Lawson offers, I think in my opinion, one of the best coffees you can get at a convenience store in Japan. Lawson also has their own sort of coffee brand, which is Matcha Cafe. So as you can see, they offer quite a bit of various stuff, convenience stores here in Japan. Of course, every convenience store is packed with onigiri, so you can get various onigiri, anything you like. And actually, this type of snack is of course quite healthy compared to European or American convenience stores, where you're probably gonna get some sausage, more hot dog, or something which contains processed meats. And you also have prepared, like steamed chicken or tofu, which you can actually eat straight out of the packet. So this, guys, you can actually just grab and eat straight out of the packet. It's already pre-cooked and you don't need to worry about heating it up. Of course, every convenience store in Japan has its own prepared and ready-made meals. You can get, for example, a pretty decent meal for around 450 yen, which is quite cheap. Of course, there are various types of food. You can have like soups, ramens, egg. You have okonomiyaki, which is a Hiroshima type of pancake. Also in Japan, they offer like these juices, which are made from vegetables. They're actually quite healthy. So it's not like the typical orange juice you find in Europe. This is more of a typical sort of orange juice you'll get at any convenience store in Europe or the US. However, Japanese drinks are technically healthier than the ones you find in Europe. Of course, we're in Japan, so they have a variety of green teas you can choose from. Some of them are with matcha, and some of them are typical green tea. Yep, that's Japan, guys. Hi, arigato. So I got myself a coffee from Lawson Cafe here in Tokyo, and yeah, as you can see, they have their own brand, which is known as Matcha Cafe. And actually, Matcha Cafe, the coffee strength is pretty good. So for what you pay, the quality and the taste is not that bad. So yeah, that's my morning coffee done, and now I'm gonna grab myself a snack from a other convenience store here in the city. So next up, I'll be heading to Family Mart, which is another convenience store chain here in Japan. And as I said before, Family Mart basically is quite different, as it offers basically desserts and snacks and also meals which are typically or generally larger than your typical convenience store in compared to Lawson, for example, or 7-Eleven. Also, they also offer up coffee, Family Mart. However, in my personal opinion, I think the coffee at Lawson or 7-Eleven is technically better. So yeah, Family Mart has a variety of different onigiri, prepared bentos, salads, and also snacks. However, their desserts are technically bigger than the ones offered at Lawson or for example 7-Eleven. Like if you see, this is actually quite larger compared to Lawson. They have also Famimia sweets, which are basically a brand of sweets dedicated more for the family. Now that it's Valentine's here in Japan, they're offering various strawberry-filled, ichigo-filled desserts. Although I'm not a Valentine type of guy, I think they're pretty tasty, to be honest. Not to be eaten every day, however, on a one-time off occasion, they're pretty good. Of course, they have also all forms of Japanese baked goods here. They have like strawberry-filled melon pan. And this is actually melon cream filled pan bread with melon cream. I mean, technically it's not healthy, however, these are like the typical Japanese baked goods you'll find here in Japan. Of course, the anpan, this one, is a famous Japanese bean-filled snack. Bread basically filled with sweet red bean paste. And also this one is another famous Japanese snack. It's basically curry pan. It's basically bread filled with curry. Yeah, I mean, here in Japan, I guess it's pretty convenient and you can find anything you want, like when it comes to snacks or quick meals at the convenience store. This, for example, is basically a sweet potato or mochi oimo pan. So this is like a soft mochi-like texture sweet potato bread, basically. Pretty interesting, actually. I've never seen this before. However, looks pretty tasty. Of course, if we look at the ingredients, it's technically not that healthy. It has a lot of carbohydrate here, a lot of sugar maybe, and also the salt content is not that low. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to health or nutrition, it's technically not that healthy. However, pretty interesting dessert. Of course, for those interested in donuts, they also have donuts here. These donuts are pretty famous in Japan. They're quite tasty. I don't personally like eating donuts, so I don't really purchase these things like a lot. I actually eat them maybe on a rare basis or rare occasion. However, if you're into like savory or sweet stuff, if you're into the sweet stuff, the donuts with your coffee pair up pretty well. So I'll be getting the red bean almond, this one, and this is pretty tasty. It's basically a steamed hot bun with red bean paste. So yeah, basically this is the red bean anman, and in my opinion these hot cakes or hot sort of steam buns are pretty tasty, and it's actually pretty cheap too, like it's 120 yen. So I'll be eating my anman. It also has a cute design here on the bun, imprinted on the bun. And yeah, this is basically a sort of steamed bun with red bean paste inside. Actually, the bun is pretty good. Not bad. Quite sweet. However, it's not that heavy or oily, and it's basically pretty light to eat as a breakfast. Anyway, one thing I'd like to talk about Japan particularly is that walking in the street and eating is not looked upon that well by people. It's still frowned upon, and it's actually a taboo thing to do. So I'm technically trying to eat my bun in the corner around the convenience store, where I'm not basically bothering people or annoying people, as it's not really that good to walk around with food in your hand and eat it. This is known as tabiaruki, and it's frowned upon in Japanese society. So if you're ever in Japan, guys, try and eat in the park or in your local sort of seated area, rather than walking around and basically eating in the road like I'm doing. Now, just for you guys to know, Lawson also has Lawson 100 stores. Basically, what a Lawson 100 store is basically a 100 yen store, Lawson convenience store basically. So this convenience store is actually cheaper than your regular Lawson, and you can actually find like fruit, sweet potatoes, and also apples at a much cheaper price than your regular supermarket or convenience store. So for example, apples here are around 100 yen. And your mikan is around 322 yen with tax included. You also have like sweet potato. So yeah, I mean, this Lawson offers like cheaper options compared to your regular convenience stores. If you want to get some like discounted food, you can come here and buy your product rather than going to a more expensive supermarket. So yeah guys, this is my favorite like condiment, wasabi. Amazing wasabi. You can throw this on anything. It's not only for sushi. Of course, they have a variety of pot noodles here, like seafood curry, spicy noodles. So yeah, you'll never die of hunger here in Japan. So basically that was it, guys. I hope you liked the video with regards to convenience stores in Japan. Of course, there's more snacks you can actually buy at the convenience store and food. However, of course, I can't eat all the snacks and food at the convenience store. So I hope the video was interesting, and now I'll be basically walking to Ikebukuro and checking out the area, as today is quite a nice day, quite sunny. The weather is pretty good. So I'll be walking to Sunshine City in Ikebukuro, which is one of the main hubs here after Shinjuku and Shibuya.